Hello, everyone. This is Greg, your host of Goddamn Gamecube. Welcome to Season 3. If you enjoy listening to our show, consider subscribing to us on YouTube for exclusive video content. Thank you and enjoy today's episode. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Goddamn Gamecube. Greg and Beppe are your hosts today, and we are going to be talking about Hollow Knight. I think this is a long time coming. I feel like I should have played this years ago and didn't. We both liked it a lot, so why don't we kick it to Beppe, and Beppe, go ahead.
Yes, I don't know why. I don't know what prompted me to say, okay, enough is enough. Let's get on it. I asked you if you were up for playing it, and we've both completed it now. And wow, if you'll pardon the pun, we got a bottomless well of discovery,
Sure,
and adventure to talk about here. I feel like I did not have a very clear perspective on how much shit is in this game.
Oh, me either.
And it's not like filler either. It's like very substantial and rewarding stuff. And I think we should start off by kind of explaining it came out in 2017.
Yeah.
For pretty much everything. It's on everything now at any rate. It just had a week or two ago, it hit like the highest number of players contiguous.
Really? So
ever.
we were a part of that, I guess.
We were somehow.
Okay.
And it's testament to both its longevity and its continuing appeal. And you know what I think it's pretty funny is that this is something that you're going to get roasted for because it's kind of a cute game.
Yeah.
But it's not like, okay, so.
But not really.
No, because I was going to clarify that what you despise and what I am kind of ambivalent about at this point is games that like that's all they are. Like you have like, we'll think of a very kind of effective art style that hasn't really been done before, and it's just going to be a generic platformer. Where in this case, it is quite substantial. There's a lot going on. It takes cues from some of our favorite games and series. A lot of Souls stuff in you know. People seem to think I didn't think it was punishingly difficult.
Me either. I feel like the past couple of years, whenever anyone says this is a Souls-like, I like clench my ass because like I know I'm like, stop comparing it to this thing.
Yeah.
But like I feel like, this game did the Souls-like comparison in all the good ways.
Yeah.
Like it's like mysterious and weird, and like they have like the quirky NPCs and stuff. I feel like they took like the interesting stuff.
Yeah, you get like the Lost Kingdom of whatever. And you know you have to piece it all together yourself. And what they also kind of it's not like a surface level thing. Like it's good mechanics. Like the benches are kind of bonfires, and finding where you died to get your shit back.
Right.
And that's great. I think that's awesome. And the way that they work around that. And I felt like I was building towards a very kind of lofty goal the whole time because so much. I played it a little bit longer than you. I think you hit like 75%.
Yeah.
And I was like, because they added extra stuff, I was over 100 by the end of it.
Yeah. So I mean, we both beat the final boss. So I mean, we both saw the credits, but
Yes.
I didn't go completionist, but you did.
Yeah, I didn't. The only thing that I didn't touch for our audience's perspective was there's a boss rush, kind of in that like heaven sort of area that you go to, and it was just like at that point it was just kind of like the investment of time would not be worth the reward. But overall, I'm very happy with the time I spent. I don't regret a second of it.
I was very surprised.
Yeah,
not like I should have been because everybody loved it.
Yeah. And it's not even like, because I don't think that in that it's some parts of it are cutesy, but it never like pollutes the tone if it's supposed to be scary.
Yeah. I feel like this game
mysterious.
is like one of those like almost like juxtaposed cutesy games.
Yeah.
Where like, yes, it's a side scroller and yes, the art style is very cute, but it is not a cute game.
Right.
I mean, it is, I hate using the term like dark and vibe. You know what I mean? I hate using terms like that. But, there are a lot of moments in this game where, there are places, I don't know if you're going to talk about this later, but places like the Abyss and like when there's like an aspect of the game, like the disease that's sort of making its way through the game.
Yep.
I'm like, this is kind of a serious game.
It's very gloomy. It's a very I actually had no idea it was all about bugs.
Yeah, sure. Me either before I played it.
And I think it's wonderful because it's so much imagination and how where bugs would be a small part of another game. You're exploring like all the different kinds and they all have their own ways they interact and stuff, and it's really cool. And it is, I think, fair to say, pretty dark because like the color palette is very kind of like it's a very dark, a lot of blacks and dark blues, and you have some nice effects with the white lights coming through and everything. It is all hand drawn. We should note.
That's really impressive.
There are some like particle effects that are interspersed. There's a couple layers. There's a couple good YouTube videos on this of how they pulled it all together, but. All the animations are very there's very few frames. It's very kind of clearly like a Braid or Paper Mario or that kind of thing, and it takes cues from that as well with the badges.
The badge system. That's right.
I haven't played it, but I was reading that was their influence on that.
Oh yeah,
and Metroid too.
Right, of course.
Metroid.
Right.
That kind of stuff. But you're a big fan of Paper Mario, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, well, the first two.
Right.
I mean, the other ones are dog shit.
So just so we're clear.
Yeah, just so we're very clear. We're like, this is the podcast where we like the first two and we think the rest are bad.
Right.
Yep.
And so I did want to point out, though, that it is a very kind of... I appreciated how much went into sort of building your character the way you wanted and how... It in many cases a platformer is just a platformer and you get objective upgrades and you do get like new moves that stay with you, but the choosing your charms and basically just the way you play the game can be completely different.
And what I also think is really cool is like there are some upgrades that are not necessary.
Yeah.
Like I missed some stuff and I said, where the heck is this? What area is that?
Right.
What is that? I sort of, every time I finish a game, like I try to beat every game without a guide. And after I'm done with it, I like to look back at maybe what I missed or what else there is. There is so much content in this game. And what I think is really cool about it is like a lot of it is it's missable. Where like you don't need all the upgrades. You can go beat the game and not get some of the powers, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. Like the poison swimming thing.
Yeah, I never got the poison swimming ability. I didn't even know you could.
Yeah. I mean even like down to a gameplay like just straight up playing the game, like which charms are you going to equip? Is it going to like you can pad out your health bar and sometimes at the expense of being able to heal. There's one of those like you use like the soul that you get from enemies to heal yourself, and the fact that is you can obtain extra vessels for that, but your primary one is a set amount. So it has to empty first before you can refill it. Like very, very kind of thoughtful.
There's some very thoughtful balancing in this game.
I appreciate it, and like going into different encounters kind of sometimes warrants different choices. So I found myself sitting at the bench kind of like messing around with it just to see.
Speaking of the bench, I really like the bench system and the map system. Where what I thought was really cool about this game was your map only updates when you sit at a bench. It's like a bonfire in Dark Souls, but you also have to buy the map of the area. So what I thought was really neat was you go into this new area, you're totally lost, there's no map, and you're trying to find the cute little map salesman. So he'll sell you the map, and then you have to find a bench to rest at to record the map. It's really neat.
And it's what I love about it is that they kind of rode the line. It was a little too much for me in some places, but they rode the line pretty successfully of not making it too hard to get your way around, but not handing it to you.
A few times I was like, whoa, my God, where the fuck do I go to find the map?
I had to look it up twice.
A handful of times.
Yeah. just because it's the world is so huge.
And it is crazy to me, like how big it is too. Like it just keeps expanding left and right and down and also up.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job with the exploration in this game.
Absolutely. And it's also, before we forget about the map, the cartographer guy, I forget his name.
Me too. I forget.
Cornifer.
Yeah.
You hear him humming.
That's a cue.
And then you see like the pages because he's scrolling, and you can just follow the trail of breadcrumbs to find him. And that's great. Like that's a great way to, and it's not usually too long in going into a new area before you run into him. And he's pretty much just one of almost every character I thought was really, really incredible.
Me too. Some of them that jumped out to me were like, do you remember there's I think it's, I don't remember her name. She's like singing in the mine or whatever.
Yes.
And I think she's slowly kind of losing her mind.
Yep.
And that was very interesting. You have that kind of junky swordsman too, right? Who's kind of a bum.
Oh my God. I was telling Nick, your brother Nick, about this and how interesting that character is, because oftentimes when you have a character like that, I think the first time you save him from a giant mosquito.
Yeah.
And he's not grateful at all. He's very brusque. He's very proud. And what normally winds up happening with a character like that is that it's like played for laughs, or it's kind of cute, but the next time you run into him, it's in town in Dirtmouth, and he's like talking shit about the elder bug, like the very nice old man over there. Like, what the fuck? Like, what did he do to deserve that? So it's kind of like, it's an interesting like kind of flip where he is really just top to bottom like an unlikable asshole.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks like you, and there's that, did you follow the plot line where you rescue that girl and she falls in love with him? It was so funny. And then I don't know if did you run into him in the Coliseum?
Yes, I
just
did.
A joke.
And you just like beat his ass.
God,
yeah,
incredible.
Really, really well done. I mean, I don't know if you have this down, but the banker is fake too. Remember?
Dude,
that was
shit.
awesome. Like you'd think in like a Dark Souls-esque game, I'm gonna lose. It's the same system. If you die, you lose all your money, all your souls, or whatever. Or they call it Geo.
Yes.
So in this game, there's a banker where you can bank your Geo, and so you don't lose it when you die. But if you bank enough of it, she actually runs away with your money.
I wasn't sure if it was a limit you hit or if it was a certain point in the story.
I think it's 4,000 Geo.
It's I've never seen that before, where it's like, and it's something that happens in real life like all the time. Or where you have like a Ponzi scheme and someone runs away. It's
literally like a
money.
Ponzi scheme in the game.
And you walk back over to the bank and the entire facade just collapses and she's gone. And it's really funny too, because she seems like a nice old lady. And did you happen to see the end of that quest?
No, I know what happens though.
Incredible.
Yeah, unreal.
So I just, for the audience, I'll spoil it here. It's worth talking about how you find this place. It's like a club in the city, like House of Love or something like that. I forget what it's called, but you find her in like a hot tub, and you can just kind of like smack her because she's like a turtle, kind of like a pill bug or whatever, and you can just kind of smack her around, and all your money comes out of her shell. Oh my God. You can collect it back with interest. It's fucking incredible. I love that. I figure it's while we're talking about the characters, just good to go through the highlights.
Sure, yeah.
The shop owner turning out to be
a sword master
the whole time is incredible. Like only if you find like all his.
What I thought was like really cool about the shops actually was like how everything they sell is useful.
Yeah.
And how buying out their stock. I don't believe in this game there are any like regenerating items. I think everything is finite.
Yes, you're right.
And what's really cool about the shopkeeper is everything is useful. He sells some main items that are helpful. And he also sells like, I call them pieces of heart. It's like Zelda, how you upgrade your health.
Yes.
He sells really cool items. And when you buy out the stock at the end of the game, he's gone. But he's in his basement and he's actually a sword master.
And you have to find his storeroom key, which opens up like a whole new set of items and his basement. And that's where he kind of like teaches you Like we did actually agree on that the sword arts were kind of useless.
Yeah, it's like this game, I feel like the combat in this game comes down to smacking with your sword as fast as possible, jumping out of the way, and occasionally shooting the magic spell at people.
Yeah, and just kind of using your new locomotive skills, because over the course of the game you get a sprint, and then it can turn into a dodge where you can dodge through an attack,
people,
which is awesome. And you have the double jump at a certain point. There's certain things you've seen like in plenty of platforms.
They just did the Metroidvania. You get like different locomotive skills over the course of the game. They just did that really well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're kind of all over the map here, but I wanted to talk about some other NPCs.
Sure.
The leg eater. Did you like?
Who is the leg eater?
He's like a mantis or an ant.
Oh, you talking? Is that the guy who's like
up?
His head is like up in the trees near one of the stations. You talking about that guy?
No, I didn't really get that character.
Me either.
The giraffe kind of
thing. Which guy are you talking about?
I was talking about the guy that sells you the fragile charms.
Yes, that merchant.
Very funny, weird looking
yeah.
guy. And what's awesome is one of the content packs that they added, you can actually upgrade those into permanent ones.
Oh, really?
Which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
It's like a lot of money or whatever, but yeah, that guy is really funny. Did you run into Mr. Mushroom at all?
Who's Mr. Mushroom? I don't remember the names of these characters.
It's literally just like a guy who looks like a mushroom, and you have to hit him with the dream nail or whatever to understand what he's saying. And you can run into him a couple times. And I think if you find him every time, it's like he shows up in the ending or something.
Oh, okay.
Like one of those.
Interesting.
I really liked he's kind of like the Solaire sort of guy, who you don't realize it, but he's wearing like an important mask on his head the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And it winds up being important. I thought that was really interesting that a lot of the bugs have like masks.
Right.
I'm not really sure. There is a mask maker NPC, and if you found,
yep,
it's like
I did.
Very tucked away, and I'm not really sure what the context is. It's kind of interesting.
Well, isn't the context that you're hiding your face, right? So you're kind of trying to blend in with them, right? Is that kind of the context?
I think it's one of those sort of things where your character is very mysterious, and the further you dig, the more
effed up the game gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of a deadly premonition thing almost, where it's you have a lot more connection to this story than you thought.
Yeah,
which is pretty awesome. Did you get to the end of the nailsmith quest?
The guy who upgrades your sword?
Right.
No, I think I did 3 of the upgrades. I don't think I did the final.
So if you upgrade it fully, he like his character payoff is he asks you to kill him with it.
Really?
It's so cool.
This is one of these games where, like, we've used that phrase they thought of everything.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Because I was thinking just comparing to, Dark Souls and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of great NPCs in those games, but they don't always have like a good payoff. Like,
rarely.
Sigmire and all that. Lautrec payoff is great, but then they do like the fake Lautrec in Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just a very...
Also, those quests are very obtuse. It's hard to solve them. And it's just way too hard to follow.
All these characters, they have like meaningful sort of story arcs and payoffs. Mm-hmm. There's the girl, I think her name is Cloth. She has the sack over her head.
Yep.
And she winds up helping you with an optional boss battle where she and the boss like kill each other.
Yep, that's right.
It's pretty awesome. The last ones I wanted to talk about was the I believe DLC characters, and they're called the Grim Troop.
Okay.
And it's a very kind of like carnival kind of aesthetic, and they're performing some kind of ritual in the town. And it's interesting because it's sort of a medieval insect vibe, and it's pretty cool that they were able to inject this kind of new art style sort of and make it work and make it contiguous. And they're pretty interesting characters. And honestly, so I just to put a pin on the whole thing, incredibly interesting characters that are just very memorable. They all have the funny little vocal quirks because they don't speak English. It's all just like gobbledygook. Really, really just endearing stuff. What I also wanted to mention was you were talking about the world and the map and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Another character who kind of fits into that is the stag.
Yeah. The fast travel guy.
Exactly.
That was really neat too.
Yeah. And I thought it was handled, I don't know, like among the best
fast travel systems. What I really like about it is it's another one of these things. It's another like aspect of discovery in the game where finding them is not that easy. There are signs that will show you where they are, which I thought was really neat. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you'll just kind of run into them.
Sometimes there's fake ones.
Yeah. What I thought was really cool is the first one I ran into. I was like, oh my God, is this a boss? What the hell is this?
Right.
Oh, he's going to help you.
Well, his voice is fucking scary. I don't know if you felt the same way, but
for sure. No, it's like very angry and brusque and brisk. What I thought was really cool too is he also has a quest line.
Oh yeah.
Where like, if you find they call them stag stations in the game, I think, where you have to find the different fast travel points. If you get them all, he has this little thing he says where he's trying to remember where his nest is.
Right.
And once you find all the stations, he'll take you there.
Yep.
And you get a little bit of his story too, which is really cool.
You get access to some like new items and stuff like that, and it's all, it's both rewarding in the lore and rewarding, tangentially.
Sure.
Or however you say it. I thought that was awesome. I did think like towards the end of the game they were going to open up bench warping.
They didn't.
They never did.
No.
Because there's one by like every vendor. So I said to you at one point, I was like, I'm sure there's going to be bench warping, but there never is. And that honestly, for the most part, once you are up and running and you have the whole map unlocked, it's pretty easy to get around. The only like kind of hiccup, I guess, is I think once you kill one of the major bosses or targets or whatever, the crossroads gets really fucked up.
Yes.
And that makes navigating a lot more difficult. I mean, it was interesting that the geography changed so much. And I did think it was rewarding to revisit old areas with like your new moves and stuff.
It's the whole Metroidvania thing where they gave you a reason to go back to areas frequently.
Yes.
Like there were always new upgrades, new places to see. Also, this game is really well balanced, so getting heart pieces, whatever they want to call them, getting the heart pieces and upgrading your health or upgrading like your soul meter, which is your magic meter, was really hard to do.
Oh yeah.
So it was always worth it to go down a new path or solve a puzzle or a platforming puzzle, because you always were getting that little drip of items.
Yeah.
And almost every item is incredibly worthwhile.
And it makes your life like, or improves your chances. And I thought it was so empowering when you can like go back to an old area and like a jump or something is much easier, or like a combat,
or you can just fly through it,
trivialized.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. The down swing is like it's borderline broken how good it is.
But I don't know if you had this problem. The puzzles that frustrated me the most were when you had to bounce on enemies with the downswing. Do you remember that stuff?
I was at a certain point I was just like, wait, that's not a mechanic, is it?
I think it is.
And then it is. And you can bounce on like the
mushrooms
city
and
roofs.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, you just have to keep it going, like time it before you hit
that was
spikes.
Probably the stuff that pissed me off. Like, I think I didn't find the combat in this game to be that hard. There were a boss or two where I had to take a bunch of cracks at it.
Yeah.
I think some of the platforming is what like grated my nerves a little. I don't know about you.
It depends on the area, because there were some runs that were like, shit, like I have to do this like a lot.
Yep.
And it's frustrating because it's your life is slowly running out and you're like, fuck, how am I gonna get back here if I die?
Yeah.
I did the optional I didn't do the super duper hard one, but it's called the White Palace.
Okay.
And it's down in it's part of a larger quest line involving the king.
Okay.
And what you do is you go down there. I think you have to get a certain amount of. This is something else I actually thought was kind of maybe not implemented as well as it should have. The Dream Nail.
Oh yeah, I never used it.
I never really used it unless it was like a context.
Yeah, context
sort of
sensitive.
Thing.
Yeah,
and it just felt it compared to. I made on a previous episode. I talked about how surprisingly fluid it is to jump in a vehicle in Halo.
Yeah.
And that's something that I kind of tend to look for in games where it's it all has to feel like part of the one experience. And when you use the dream nail in this game, it is very much like I'm stopping the game and I'm taking out the dream nail. Like it's not, whereas everything else in the game is very like,
fluid,
super tight.
Yeah, I just felt like combat skills, including the dream nail. It's just, why am I using it?
Right.
I'm just gonna swing away.
Yep.
At everything.
Yeah, I that was something else, but I think you have to collect a certain amount of essence to unlock this area, and it's you pretty much, it is I sent you that link, and it's the Twitter guy Drill. He made a Super Mario Maker level a couple years ago called Better Call Saws, and it's just it's like a nearly impossible kind of run around a bunch of buzzsaws, and that's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
And that took me a lot. That was probably the toughest part of the game for me. And from what I understand, there is an even harder one that has no reward at the end of it.
Oh my god.
So I just I skipped that for this. Yeah, I hate my life, but not that much.
Yeah, for sure.
And I thought I felt very satisfied. It was kind of like the end of, I played the Rayman Origins, the last level of that where you're in the sky, kind of a similar grind as that. But overall, like a lot of the optional content was very worthwhile, I would say. I did want to maybe bring up some area highlights. Did you want to talk about some of those?
Yeah, I mean, actually, the first thing that jumped out to me was actually when the infection started in the middle of the game. I said, "Oh shoot! Like, what the fuck's gonna happen here?" And because I think you start to get into like, is this just a cutesy game? What's going on?
Right.
And you start to get that inkling of there's something going on here, and it kind of led more towards when you go into the abyss. Big Dark Souls nod, obviously. That's when I said like, what is going on here? Like, I think you find like a shadow of yourself running through it, right? Remember that? Is that the abyss?
Well, there's the siblings, because I don't know if you had did you have the enemy guide from that guy?
Yes,
the hunter? They look like you. They're kind of like the shades that you kill when you die. And it's kind of, there's, once you do that king subplot I was mentioning, it kind of there's a room in the abyss, I think, called the birthplace or something. And it's kind of like, it's implied that's where you came from.
Right.
And it's like the king is beckoning you to fulfill this quest or whatever. But that area was awesome, and I really liked how the abyss in this game is a bunch of kind of shadowy it's kind of like Death Stranding a little bit, with the people grabbing at you. And what I loved was the part where you turn on the lighthouse.
Yes.
So it can shine on the very like old kind of adventure game.
Yeah. Like the one puzzle. Right?
Yes, exactly. I thought that was really, really cool. So you can swim across the lake unimpeded. I had a couple of I really liked the Crystal Peak area.
Yeah.
I just had a lot of fun. Like it was not very challenging to me. I just really enjoyed playing it. I loved the music. The music in general in this game is terrific. Yeah,
they did a really good job. I hope you have this written down in your notes here. On the train, they play like a phonograph, or like a coming out of a radio version of the theme. It's really cool.
Yeah, there's kind of I said to you at one point, I said, this game is an all-timer because the bugs made a train. Yeah. And I just love that old-timey little carriage and all the seats and everything, and how they have their own little life.
And it's one of these things, they thought of everything, where if the music is coming out of a radio and it's now a diegetic soundtrack and your character's listening to the radio, it now sounds like it's coming out of it. Yeah. Which was really cute.
And if you break those, it stays broken, and the music shuts off. It's like kind of like the save room theme. Yep. It normally plays when you're sitting on a bench or whatever. That was awesome. I loved riding it, and I loved that the stag hates it.
Oh, does he?
If you talk to him at a certain station or something, he's like, "You haven't been riding the train, have you?" Because like put them out of work.
It's gonna put me out of a job
or whatever.
Or maybe
pretty cool.
Is he kind of like hinting towards that's why the stags kind of quote unquote went out of business?
Exactly. Yeah. Or like and he calls them like vulgar, annoying, whatever.
Yeah.
And pretty cool. I think I found like the broken down one before I found the real one.
Me too.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. And that's where you get the pass, the train pass.
Yep, I did the exact same way.
That was awesome, because it's kind of divide. It's not just Dark Souls. It has a train. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like, it's
what I thought was cool about it is you kind of got to see a little bit of the before and after,
Yep.
or like what happened here.
exactly.
You see a little bit of the downfall of society because you're kind of going through the bones of it.
yeah,
when you're
you see
down
a lot
there.
of like insect like shells, like it's like bodies.
It's kind of like unnerving.
A little
There are
bit,
a lot
yeah.
of bodies, and like you're kind of breaking bones and shells and husks of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of that, I wanted to, before we get too far, talk about Dirtmouth, the town.
Oh, sure.
I loved it.
UMass Dirtmouth.
UMass Dirtmouth. Very underrated tweet by us.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was the perfect hub, and I loved how it came to life over time. And felt like it's, when you open up the stag station, the elder bug says, "Oh, that hasn't run in years," and stuff like
Right.
that. And you're kind of bringing life back to the surface.
And the map maker shop opens, and the nail master shop opens. It kind of happens over time. Also, I think getting the Forgiver or whatever is optional.
Oh yeah,
That's optional too.
you're talking about the one to get your shit back.
Yeah, you use the rancid eggs or whatever.
Yeah, you can offer them up, and I thought it was a really cool way to do it, where she summons your ghost there.
Yeah,
so
so
you don't have to go.
that
find
was
it
an
out.
interesting thing they sort of piled on top of the Dark Souls formula, where if you die, you have to go kill your ghost above your body to get your stuff back.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't want to go run back to where you died, you can go to this NPC's, essentially like a pardoner from Dark Souls, and you
Right.
can offer an item. It's a rancid egg. And what you said was, she will, or was it a she? I think it was a she.
I think so.
She will bring the ghost there, and so you can kill the ghost there instead of having to trek back to your body.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And it's something that's a kind of leads to a larger point about this game, where a lot of other games give you all this shit at the start, and it just kind of, there's no
Drip, drip.
progression.
Yeah.
And this game, it makes it playable, but it takes away all these, like, you don't get a map from the start. You don't get all these different moves or whatever.
I mean, that's a really good way to like summarize a lot of the gameplay. Like the progression in the game is just really good.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say this: you ever have those games where maybe aspects of it are too balanced, where
Sure.
nothing feels like an upgrade? The badges to me felt like that a little.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I could increase my sword range, but like I could increase my health.
Like, let me play with the stuff a little bit more.
Yeah, there isn't a lot of play
a lot
in
of
there. There's a lot of give and take.
Very finite notches.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish there was a little, maybe like, give me 2 extra.
Or hey, these badges are definitely better than others,
Right.
and they're harder to get.
Sure.
It's like almost too balanced, where
Yeah.
there isn't. You know what's funny? The best badges are the ones that break. Right? You get plus
Oh, yeah.
damage, plus health.
Yeah, that's why it becomes so valuable to like
Yep.
grind for the money and upgrade them when you can.
And I definitely took some risks and ended up failing, where I'm like, okay, this boss is hard. I'm gonna go plus attack, and died, and it breaks.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah, they did a
Your
good job.
reach or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? It's area that I hated, and I know it's by design, is
Sure.
the Deep Nest.
Oh yeah.
It's very, and it's amazing, because every area feels like its own thing. You're never gonna get confused about where, you might get confused about where to go, but you won't be confused about where you are. They all have their own aesthetic, and the transitions between areas are wonderful. Like when you're going from the city into the mushroom forest,
Yep.
and you just start seeing mushrooms along your path. It's not like you know.
There isn't like a loading time cutoff. You start to see the areas sort of go into each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. The Deep Nest is awful.
Yeah.
and it's definitely on purpose.
Yeah.
It's a very kind of Miyazaki move to have just this very tight, confined. It's such a great contrast with everything else, because it's very much just these are burrower bugs. They're all kind of like
Tunnels, and it's very claustrophobic.
nightcrawler kind of
Yep.
creatures, and it's really well done. But the city was probably my favorite overall. I don't know
Okay.
if you liked, cause I just love I'm a big sucker for the rainy aesthetic and the
Oh, sure.
beautiful Who song that was playing in the background.
Oh, are you talking about the where it's raining? What was
City
the
of Tears.
City of Tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Do you know what's interesting about that? It's almost like you can get to the City of Tears pretty early,
Yep.
and you think the game is pretty short, but you can't actually do everything in it for a while. And the City of Tears, what I found was so interesting about this game in general, it has to do with this. It's back to what I said before, where they give you a really good taste of the before and after. And the City of Tears feels like it was the old central hub.
Yep.
Where this is where all the bugs hung out.
Kind of like an Anor Londo or something.
Thank
like
you.
that.
Yeah, it's exactly what it feels like. This used to be where sort of the rich and the famous and everybody hung out, and it connects to so many other parts of the world.
Yeah.
And now that it's all gone to shit over, I don't know how many years the game takes place over. I don't think they tell you. Now Dirtmouth is kind of the sort of humdrum civilization because everything's gone to shit.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to like Ocarina of Time, where in the future everyone moves out of Castletown into Kakariko
Village. You could say it's like Firelink and Anor Londo too.
Yeah. I absolutely. And I you made a good point that I was thinking about how to transition into my next thing here, which I wanted to talk about, the enemy palette, which is incredible.
Okay, yeah.
And in the City of Tears, you talked about the rich and famous, and you were talking about one of my favorite enemy classes in the whole game because they're so funny is the very rich kind of foppish bugs, I guess, like the high society bugs. They're just cowards. Just run away from you.
It looks like they have bow ties and shit.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting because you're not really sure how much of it is like them or how much of it is like an infection or whatever, or like possessed.
Kind of the story of the game.
Yeah, pretty cool. Did you want to talk about any favorite enemies?
Yeah, do you know what's funny? Like how many enemies I loved and just equally annoyed me.
Oh yeah.
Like all the flying enemies with the spears. And also, because what's interesting about this game is your invincibility after you get hit is tiny.
Yeah.
So you can just keep getting pounded by, you can get hit by an enemy, fall into a spike trap, and get hit twice.
I often chose the badge that lengthens it.
Yeah.
It's very useful.
Like, and they had some enemies that absolutely F you up.
Oh yeah.
Like the big enemies with swords, or the ones where you kind of have to do the down slash while jumping, and they even have, what I really like about this game is enemies have counters and reactions to almost everything you do. People will raise shields up above their heads, so you can't jump on them.
Exactly.
Things like that.
Very dynamic. There's not really a catch-all. You kind of, they vary the placement enough where you have to stay on your toes, pay attention to what you're doing.
Do you know an enemy I hated?
Which one?
The jellyfish things that just after you kill them, they dive at you and explode.
God,
that drove me crazy.
That was brutal. I had a similar, I didn't like, really bothered me the ones that fly around and they shoot crystals at you.
Oh my
and they
God.
Expand, you have to smash them.
the crystals. Oh,
they were really tough. But I wanted to really just talk about like the funny enemies.
Okay.
Because the one that I kept running into, and it took me a while to realize how funny it was, are the mushroom guys that go wah.
Yeah.
Or the spiders that, I don't know if you found this as funny as I did, but the ones that appear pretty much out of nowhere and they go wah. It's a lot of like very creative kind of, like they're creepy and annoying, but they're also kind of funny. And those big ones that
jump.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not that hard, but they're very intimidating,
Yep.
which I thought was an interesting kind of. And the one that was really frustrating was the one, it's kind of like a spider, but it has a big like shield mask in front of it. You have to wait for your opening.
Yeah.
I was like, am I missing something here?
Dude,
like, how do I do
I
it?
think those are in the deep nest or a part of that. And it's like I said, if I didn't just soak damage, or I didn't have as like max HP, how do you do this?
Exactly.
Yeah, it was really hard.
You gotta be patient, unfortunately. And I guess just building off of that, any bosses you want to talk about?
Yeah. Do you know what boss? Like, I definitely either did it too early or I'm just not that good at the game. Was it the Night Watchers where you had to beat like 6 or 7 of them in the same fight?
Oh yeah.
It was one of the main bosses. That was the one fight that I did 15, 20 times.
Oh really?
Oh, it took me forever. I think I did it too early.
I think I did it pretty late, and it was kind of one of those things where your hands start sweating a little because it's like, how long is this going to go on?
Yeah.
How long can I keep this up?
It was very much like a gargoyle sort of fight where like you kill one, another one appears, but if you go too slow, they'll keep coming.
Yeah,
that was pretty
I heard
cool.
people had a lot of difficulty with that.
Yep, that was a good one.
Most of the ones that I really had a hard time with were like optional stuff.
Yeah.
Like the where's it, the husk?
Yeah.
Or whatever. That was pretty tough. I felt like it was a kind of a Genichiro experience was the Mantis Lords.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
a very
yeah.
good kind of, okay, we're not fucking around now. You know, we're testing you. And it's so rewarding to figure that out. And it felt like the first Hornet encounter was kind of similar, where it's like, okay, you know, I hope you're paying attention because we're going to throw this at you.
Hope you know how to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was I was thinking about also the Dung Defender.
Oh yeah.
That
Oh
guy
my
is
God.
awesome.
Yeah,
He's
that
like,
was really funny.
like a dung beetle who's like a luchador, I
Yeah.
guess, kind of wrestler.
Is that the boss where after you kill him, you don't kill him because he says, "Oh, you were a good fight."
Yeah.
He's like an NPC after.
He I think you just like knock him on his ass or something.
Yeah.
And one that I encountered that you didn't was the Collector.
Okay.
And this was in the city as well. This is like a hidden room, and it's kind of this black and white, very strange encounter. He's not that tough, but he's kind of one of those like End of Majora's Mask kind of goofy.
Oh sure.
Kind of bosses, but kind of creepy at the same time. And if you kill him, you get a map of all the little grubs who you have to. This is one of those games where you have like a collect 'em all kind of thing. And you didn't finish that quest line, did you?
No, I didn't get all the grubs. I got most of them.
I had no idea what to make of it, because basically to for anyone who hasn't played this, you get pretty early on, there's this crying like caterpillar guy.
Yeah.
He's clearly like an old man or something. And there's a bunch of empty spaces where all presumably his family or kids are or whatever. And over the course of the game, you free them from their little glass cases. And he rewards you for bringing them back to him. And they're all very happy. It's very cute. And then once you get all of them, you know, you get a charm or something. But if you leave and come back, it's just the dad, and he's there, and he's gigantic, and he's like sleeping, and it's like implying that he ate
them. Oh my God, this game is fucked up.
And there's that's fucking weird. And then there's the trick ones. Did you ever run into those?
Yes, I did.
That was like where you think you're rescuing one, but it's like a
monster.
Yeah, pretty cool.
This game did a lot of clever stuff. This game is very well thought out.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like I say, a bottomless well. Like it just they just keep.
When you think it's done, they keep going.
And it's all good. It's all really, really good. I did want to I think as we wind down here, any particular moments or story highlights that jumped out at you, or encounters?
I think the what was her name? The main sort of not villain, but sort of your rival in the game. You fight Hornet.
Yeah.
I think she's the star of the next one.
So I hear. Yeah.
Yeah. What
Pretty
I think
cool.
is cool about her is like she does play a pivotal part of the story if you get the right ending. Right, like you encounter her a couple of times. I remember like when I was in was it the grasslands, the greenlands, or whatever.
Yeah,
and I knew she was going to be a boss. I was like nervous. I'm like, I should go save. I don't want to duel her. And then in the abyss, she talks to you too, and then you slowly figure out she's your ally.
Yeah, over
the course, and she's going to help you. at the end of the game,
you can kind of tell when those encounters are happening, because when you hit them, they like flash white instead of bleeding.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
No, I think the best story moment for me is when you go into the middle area and it's all orange and infected and the enemies change.
Oh yeah,
that's when I said, "Oh yo,
yeah,
like, whoa!"
It is an evolving world. I really liked earning the respect of the Mantis tribe. Where they stop being enemies if you beat the Mantis lords.
Yep, that's right.
And they pretty much, it's like they somehow have a functioning society in the midst of all this chaos. And it's pretty cool that they all bow to you when you walk by and everything. That was a great moment. Just little things like if you sell a certain amount of items to that guy in the city, he'll say, I'm just gonna step out in the rain for a moment.
I found that too.
Join me if you like. And it's just like a nice little, like, it doesn't like, it's he doesn't really have much going on besides that, but it's just a nice little kind of pensive moment that isn't necessarily that, you know.
Did you ever find it weird? Why is it raining? It's underground. Didn't you ever find that strange?
I just assumed it was stuff leaking through like a hole.
That's what I thought. We're like, it's just very bizarre, but also kind of calming.
Or maybe it's not even rain. Like it's like a body of water that's dripping
through. Is it under the lake? It could be.
Right.
And I just didn't notice.
Like, I mean, it's you really like takes your imagination for a ride.
Yeah, for sure.
At one point, I really liked you can kind of just when you go through to one of the main bosses, quote unquote, you go up to, he has a telescope.
Yes, and you just look through it.
It's like an animated kind of view of the city. It looks beautiful. We talked about the lighthouse and the banker. Yeah. What was the other one where it was another major boss where you're in like the spider area and you sit on the bench and like,
and you get taken.
Bench. You look tired. Sit on the bench.
You know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, everyone's acting really weird.
Yep.
And you get webbed up on the bench. You can't move and everything.
They want to sacrifice you. Pretty
cool. I thought there was going to be like a major like boss when you fought those you're tasked to kill it's kind of a Shadow of the Colossus thing where it's like, you know, it's the wrong thing to do or something.
Yeah.
But you just kind of like
a couple of them are ironic.
Yeah.
I think the only one is like the Night Watchers or whatever, even though that's not really the boss, but it's a boss before.
You only have like adjacent, like there's the one in the labs, which is a cool area. It's like a big Metroid kind of, and then, you know, but that's not the thing you have to kill. That's not the thing you're tasked to kill. Pretty cool. And probably my favorite of all is running into yourself down in the tunnels.
Yes.
And it's really trippy because you can lose track and then you pick up the trail and follow yourself a little bit more. And what it winds up being is once you get all the way down there, that is a boss, an optional boss. And it's pretty much just its face. It's like a little bit of an anglerfish kind of thing where it's luring you down there by using your image. It really fucking like
a lot of creative stuff.
Very creative. And it got me thinking about how effective that is in games in general to have like the mirror version of you.
Yep.
Especially if you're almost identical. And it's because it never seems to get old because who you are in a game is always changing. And it's like kind of looking at yourself from another perspective. It's pretty effective. I think maybe one of my few gripes was I wish I knew how to. It was kind of a Sekiro thing where I'm like, I don't know how to get the endings that are.
This game is it's way too obtuse to get the endings to the game.
I got this like the second best ending, but I didn't know what to do.
I didn't understand either. Like you had to get some badge and you had to like make the badge whole by doing something.
Yeah,
I'm summarizing this poorly. And then you got to, I don't know, something happens at the final boss and it's not, I don't know.
I felt it was very, it is kind of a Souls thing where it's like,
too obtuse.
Will you perpetuate the cycle or end it? Or will you become like the Hollow Knight imprisoned again?
Yeah.
There's a part in the final boss fight where you have to use my favorite weapon, the Dream Nail.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't get it because I didn't realize.
I think that's the third part.
It's kind of a Wind Waker thing where she's like, with the light arrows where she like freezes him and you have to do a thing at a certain time and that's how you get the good ending.
Okay.
And I would have liked to have known that because I felt like as it was pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah, for sure.
Just before being locked in one way or another. And so I guess just to wrap it all up, I felt very fulfilled by this game.
Me too.
And I felt I think I spent about 41 hours.
I spent about 30.
And it makes me wonder if I will like the next one because I'm very much like, you know, that was a complete experience.
Yeah.
I was very, very, it took it, I think, as far as it could have gone.
Yeah,
to the extent that I don't know what's going to happen with the next one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of info on it in a while. It's been kind of dead air. for a while.
People were expecting it this summer. It didn't happen. I've seen a little bit of footage. It looks pretty interesting because she has kind of that grappling.
Yeah.
Everyone's into the grapples these days.
I was very impressed by this game as well. It's one of these games where I should have played it so long ago. It's like Hellblade. I should have played it in 2017. I just didn't. I don't know why. One of my coworkers, John, is really into it.
Yeah.
So, and it was kind of serendipitous how he really loved it. He told me to play it. You said, "Hey, I'm going to play it. Go buy it." I said, "Sure, whatever," and let's go try it. And that was like a month ago.
Right. And what did you play it on again?
I played on Switch, believe it or not.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I played it on PC.
Yeah.
Perfect performance and everything.
I think my takeaway from this game is I was so impressed, not only by, I love the navigation system, love the map system, love the benches and how you have to get to a bench to draw what you remember.
Yep.
That was so cool.
He has the little animations for that.
Where he draws it.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved how the game just keeps expanding on itself. You think, oh, how many areas are there? It's probably pretty small, and it just keeps going.
I was like, have you been to the Beehive? You're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I said, no, I never even got there.
No, yeah.
There's just so much to see, and and they just did such a good job surprising me.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I feel like I say this about music too. I either want you to give me exactly what I want, or you need to subvert my expectation in the best way.
Really knock it out of the park.
And I think they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
I would say so. Do you have a grade you would give this game?
Oh wow. B+.
Cool.
If it was on a good day, maybe A-.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problems with this game does have one problem.
What's that?
This is a goddamn GameCube pet peeve. Someone should make a video compilation of every time we say that.
Oh yeah.
I hate the mechanic where if I touch an enemy, he hurts me. Why?
Oh,
He didn't
yeah.
attack me.
True. Yeah.
I don't like that.
Okay.
So that bothers me in every platforming game. So that's number one.
Yeah. Interesting.
But if you catch me on a good day, I might give this game an A-.
Right.
I would say it's a B+ because the sword skills are useless.
Yep.
You should just swing away. The balancing of the badges is almost too good, where it's kind of tough to tell what's better than what. Tough to say. And like I said, that's not my favorite part of platforming. Is that, but the game, it's interesting. I love the NPCs, love the travel system. I would say it is a B+ for me.
Cool.
What about you?
On my numerical system, I would give it a 9.
Oh wow, that's B+ A-,
9
right
out
up
of
there.
10. Yeah. I think it is just a very well-conceived game. It's that rare marriage of vision and talent. And basically, I think they cut some stuff, but it was all the right calls because it feels very polished, very finished experience. It's just nice to just walk away with a smile on your face.
I agree.
Once,
I think I turned it off. And I said that was a really good game.
Yeah. It's not often on goddamn GameCube we have that that experience.
It's like we put so much effort into doing these retrospectives. Finally, we like one of them.
Oh yeah, and it's a total unknown.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think you put it off for so long because of the aesthetic, or is it just?
Do you know why I put it off for so long? I hated Shovel Knight. And as soon as someone said there's a cutesy platforming game that's an indie game called Something Night and it's a side scroller, I said no thanks.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't like Shovel Knight.
Really?
But this game obviously is so much different, and I should have played it earlier. I didn't. But hey, that's all I've got. So thank you guys for listening to Goddamn GameCube, and we will see you next time. Thank you.